This is Michelle here at Life Mantra Tarot. I hope that you guys are all doing great on this Sunday evening, prepping your bodies and whatnot for the work week as we approach it tomorrow. Um, I worked today at my other job, so I didn't really get to enjoy a day off. The weather was so nice, but it was actually not a bad day at work, so it's cool. Um, and then, yeah, I go back to work with the kiddos tomorrow, so gotta get my body back in gear as well. But anywho, nonetheless, welcome to the channel. If you guys are new here, I hope that you like what you see here and decide to hit that subscribe button and that like button when people start trickling in. And also, if you are already a supporter and whatnot and a subscriber, thank you for the continued support. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. And yeah, so I don't want to blabber on too much to start off, but just wanted to put that out there. Um, yeah, so quick little tidbit about my day. Um, while I'm waiting for people to come in. So work was good. I work at two different places. I work at a school with kids with special needs as an assistant teacher, and then I also work at a liquor store. How is that for a juxtaposition of energy, right? So, with that said, yeah, I worked at the store today, and it was actually a pretty good day. So then, guess who decides that they want to be a dum dum pop and locks their keys in the car when they get home? Me, because I wanted to go get my brother a soda from across the street at the corner store. And I'm like, well, I have all this stuff. I'll come back for the stuff and then go in the house. Nope, didn't work out like that. So, yeah, I had to call a locksmith and just spent, 180 bucks to get my keys out of the car. Expensive lesson learned. Just be a little bit more cautious, right? But we live and we learn. I do not expect for a lot of people to pop up for this. Honestly, it's a Sunday night. It's a weird time, right? It's like a little after 8. Um, and yeah, just probably not one of those readings that people are going to be gravitated towards, which is perfectly fine. But I'm still going to do this reading nonetheless and take it seriously because I felt guided and drawn to do it. At first I felt drawn to do like of course a collective, but like I was kind of drawn to do possibly like a whatever comes out, very generalized reading. But then I got drawn to do a shadow work reading, which I haven't done in months. I don't know the last one I did, honestly. So like I said, I don't expect for a lot of people to stick around or feel like they gravitate towards it. But for those of you who end up sticking around and feel like this message is for you, you're more than welcome to stick around. So yeah, let's get started. I already cleansed the space and energy. So we're gonna get started. Let me shuffle this deck real quick. And I feel like first I thought there was like a card that doesn't belong, but no, it was actually like the guidebook. It's like this deck also feels a little bit heavier than normal. That makes sense. Yep, see, like I said, I don't expect people to stick around. There was one person in here. All right. The heavier readings tend to not get as many people, which is perfectly fine. It just means that it'll resonate with the right audience. So, when the right people come to this reading, cool. And if nobody shows up, then maybe the reading is just for myself. All right, so a couple more shuffles. There we go. Obsession. Interesting. On the bottom of the deck, we have obsession. So some of you guys might be obsessing about something right now. Putting a lot of your energy into the wrong things because this is about shadow work, right? So ironically enough, now all of a sudden there's 3 people in here and the number on here is 3. So I'm getting people who might put their energy into the wrong things, overextending. I'm getting like almost a parasitic energy to like obsessing about the wrong things and putting all that attention into the wrong places might be kind of literally like draining you out. So Yeah, that's just on the bottom of the deck. So let's just see what ends up actually showing up in the spread itself. Clearest and most accurate messages for the collective. What does the collective need to see at this time when it comes to their shadow and light work? Clearest and most accurate message. All right. We have perchance to dream. Perhaps there was for some of you, take the messages as they resonate because it is a collective message. For some of you, you might resonate with the idea that there might have been something that you wanted to put a lot of, your time and energy into that you like. For some of you could have been as far as back as childhood. A dream that had, been something that you were like trying to work hard on. I heard the word tangible. Like it was something that could have been tangible, but just still maybe out of your grasp or something. I'm getting something like that. I'm seeing a person reaching for something, but can't quite get there. Is what I'm seeing. And this could be something that let's say if you feel like it's like a past, you know, a moment that has passed you by, but yet you still dwell upon it. It's like this is a time to kind of start to release that. Yeah, we have fragmentation on the bottom of the deck, so it causes you to feel fragmented and a little bit all over the place, scatterbrain, if you will. Focusing on something that is no longer within reach. I'm also getting that this might not even be your own energy. This could be the energy of like your parents or something like that. Or like, let's say if you come from a family where like, people do a certain, go to certain types of schools or do certain types of careers. And that was not something that you wanted to do, but you kind of felt almost like pushed or forced into it type of thing. But, you didn't like excel at it or exceed at it. And then I'm getting something like that for somebody. That, like I said, it's a collective, so I'm getting a lot of different things coming through. Um, but yeah, it's almost like it wasn't your dream to begin with. It was someone else's. Especially if it was one of those kind of situations where somebody, let's say a parent, they wanted to do something and then they put it out to you. I heard gifted, so there might be people who end up watching this who like might have been like what they call gifted children. Very very academically, intelligent and all that stuff. I'm getting Ivy League for somebody. I'm also getting musical talents or into the arts. So for those of you who know like what it's like to be like micromanaged and not by a parent who like they want you to do stuff a certain way because they didn't get to do that and they try to live through their kids. I'm getting something like that. So, like I said, this is going to be very specific. It's not going to be for everybody. So, just take the messages as they resonate. And if they resonate, just let me know in the comment section because, it'll let me know that I'm connecting with someone's energy here. Hey, how are you, person who I can't pronounce your name because it's in, I don't want to say what language it is because I don't know, and be wrong. But, my day, for the most part, was good other than locking my keys in the car and having to call for a locksmith. That was pretty annoying. But other than that, um, I'm doing pretty good. I hope that you're well. Thank you for being here. All right, so we have addicted. Now, remember we had earlier, we saw, what was the card that came out? We have addicted here, and then we had obsessed. So, you know, if any of you guys have ever like obsessed over, this so-called dream, for those of you who do end up resonating with this, it's like it could have caused you to feel a sense of loss. It could have caused you to just feel like, well, what am I supposed to do if I can't do this? If this is not what I'm supposed to do? Or if I'm not making those who, are pushing me proud of me. I'm getting something like that. I'm getting, this is a shadow work reading, so I'm going to be a little bit more blunt on this one than I typically am, but like, because I'm pretty blunt all the time, but like I'm gonna be a little bit more blunt today. I'm getting for some people like people pleasers, people who tend to want to make sure they satisfy everybody, especially possibly parents or grandparents. Yeah, see, look, I'm getting this is the energy I'm picking up on. It makes a lot of sense. I might also pick up from or pull from the inner child deck later. We'll see, depending on how many people show up and stuff. But today for tomorrow, like, living, I think you guys are trying to learn how to live in the present versus living in the past, because you're realizing that it has become a detriment. Again, let me know if it makes sense in the comment section for those of you who do end up resonating with this. Or if you watch at a later time, let me know in the comments as well. Right now, people are in the live chat, but if you watch at a later time, let me know in the comment section if this is making sense. Fated to suffer. Fated to suffer. I'm also getting, because I'm just looking at the illustration also of this. For those of you who have ever like gotten into like fairy tales and stuff, like Sleeping Beauty and stuff like that. I don't know why you're telling me to say this. Rapunzel, like when like the background, Cinderella, when the background of a lot of those fairy tales. I know this is super weird to even bring it up, and I've never even said like this on here before. But hear me out. For those of you who are willing to give me that opportunity to listen to this energy that I'm picking up on, especially like I said, as I listen or look at this card. um it's almost giving me like something being taken away from you and then replaced with something else, like, oh, if you do this, like, I'm getting soul contracts. If you do this certain way, then you get something like this out of it, and then when it doesn't happen, then it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, like you got like a bad apple, so to speak. There's literally an apple in the picture, like not what you signed up for is what I'm getting. Like, picked up this even like the words are not coming out right, and it's frustrating. I'm getting some people might have felt stifled at some different point in time, like they don't know how to speak up for themselves. They don't know how to, like I said, this is shadow work, so it could get a little bit, a little real. But that's what I'm picking up on, people who can't really speak up for themselves. They fumble on their words or stumble on their words, because when they want to say what they're feeling in those given moments, they can't get it out. I heard enmeshment. I'm getting that there might be people who end up watching this who have like insecure attachments to family members. This is what I'm picking up on right now so far, guys. I know that this is like super early in the reading, and hey Queen, what's up, girl? Thank you for being here. But yes, for those of you who are new to the channel, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, the like button as well if the messages are resonating. I know that this is going to be a little bit more of a stretch when it comes to people actually resonating with it, because one, it's a collective, and two, it's such a heavier topic that everybody's going to be in different areas of their life, different areas of their journey. So I know that it's not going to resonate with everybody, but for those of you who it does resonate with, I would greatly appreciate hitting that like button and things of that nature. But yeah, this is very interesting. I keep getting drawn to pick for or read from that inner child deck. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I am picking up on possibly doing that. Tell us more. Let's get maybe two more from here. So far what we've seen, for those of you who came in a little bit later, just to give a quick little synopsis, there's an energy of individuals who, ear just started to ring. There's an energy of people who might have been trying to live out a dream for family, not for themselves. And kind of dwelling upon it, excuse me, and having a hard time speaking up about it, how they really feel, feeling like they've lost out on opportunities because of the fact that they're trying to please, parents, grandparents. You might come from like a prestigious background, or gifted folks like with music, or like Ivy League schools and things like that. It's going to be different for everybody. Take it as it resonates. And you want to do something different than what it is that you've been brought into or brought up on. And that is the shadow. That is what you're trying to learn how to figure out. How do I use my voice to be able to say, I don't want to do this and I want to live my own dreams? And it causes a lot of different feelings, a lot of anxieties and things like that, to the point where you overthink about it and become very, very obsessed about it. So, for those of you who are resonating with that quick little tidbit of what I said, let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. What we got here? Alone in This World came out. So, you might be feeling very, very lonely at this point, because for those of you who are resonating with this, you might have already started kind of working on this, kind of distancing yourself from all of the, feeling like, hey, this is not what it is that I feel like I'm cracked up to do. Like, I have different dreams and aspirations and whatnot than what has been bestowed upon me. I have a different path, if you will, than what you guys are trying to make me follow or force me to follow. And I'm not going to live up to your standards and or dreams because you couldn't do it. I'm getting something like that. And you might feel very isolated right now. You might feel very isolated. I should send this to my client. She's going through something similar. Let's get maybe two more from here. Revenge, and this could cause, is in the reverse. Like, this could cause a sense of anger, right? Rage, feeling like, fuck everything and fuck everyone. Like some of you might have either air in your chart or fire in your chart. But the thing is, this is in the reverse. And I feel like you guys are like at that tail end of feeling a lot of different emotions, allowing you to kind of get that sense of clarity that this you're realizing now that this is not what you want. See, obsession is here again. So, knowing that this is not what you want for yourself, knowing that it's time to move forward, knowing that um, it's time to live your life for yourself and no one else. Okay. Let's get one more from here. What we got? I'm out in the reverse. What is it? See? Obsession is here again. You're working on no longer being obsessed with it. It came out in the reverse for a reason. This card showed up several times, and now it's officially on the spread. So, learning how to not allow yourself to be so caught up in it anymore. Letting it go. Let it go. Let it go. Through it all, you might feel like you have to kind of put on I heard the word brave face. You might have to put a brave face on at this time to like kind of, not have to feel so attached to it, and to almost like dissociate yourself a little bit from what you've been feeling, and thinking. But you're realizing that, lying to yourself, right? Wearing that false mask. We have triumph of lies here on the top of the deck. However, it's in the reverse. So being honest with yourself, seeing the truth about how you've been feeling about this. See? Yeah, I'm definitely going to pull from that deck at some point during this reading. You can't make this shit up. I kept saying I'm picking up on childhood stuff, and it's showing up now. The child I was meant to be. You can't make this shit up even if you wanted to. If any of you guys want to check it out from the beginning, you can, like after it's posted and everything, or you could do it now if you want. But that is exactly what I was picking up on this whole fucking time. That's crazy as hell. Whenever this happens, I'm just like, even as the reader, I'm like, no fucking way. What the fuck are the odds? I was saying that the whole time, that this is going back to childhood. The fact that you guys have been trying to live for your family, your lineage, and all that, which is understandable. You know, I did the same thing, and sometimes I still do. Like my grandmother, she was a social worker. She was a counselor. She did a whole bunch of great stuff. She had several master's degrees. She she was the shit. She has a day named after her after she passed away here in Bridgeport, Connecticut, here in the States. Like, she was a force to be reckoned with. And when she passed away, my aunt made me go back to school, college. So I wanted to try to be the next little Mary Edie, little spinoff, basically. And I can't be her. I can't I can't try to follow. I mean, I could follow in her footsteps, but I cannot replicate. I can't. She can't be replicated, right? 21, 12. When I said that, she can't be replicated. Nobody can do what she did. You know, this woman, she was phenomenal. I can be phenomenal in my own right, but it will never be to that extent, right? It will never. I can't compete where I can't compare. You know what I mean? And now that I've gotten past that, like I'm like, I don't have to be a social worker. I don't have to be a counselor. Like I didn't even have to go to school for the things that I went to school for. I mean, I enjoyed it, but like, and that's what my degree is in. So it is what it is. But now I'm like, well, now I'm an assistant teacher. I work with kids with special needs. Very different than what my nana was doing, but still helping people in my own way. So this is about figuring out your own path, is what I'm getting for a lot of you guys. I just wanted to share that quick little tidbit. I feel like you guys are trying to figure out your own path because, for too long, you've been trying to, again, please other people, your parents, your grandparents, trying to live out this narrative of a lineage or whatever, which in and of itself is not bad. But at the same time, when you start to lose your own identity, that's where it becomes problematic. And I think that's where this reading is kind of going. So let me know if it resonates, and whatnot. And we'll go from there. I'm going to pull some tarot, and then I'm going to pull from other decks as well throughout the reading. But, if you're resonating so far, definitely let me know. Definitely let me know. I just saw the star card. It's about healing. All right, let's see. Let's get maybe one more shuffle. All right. The Lovers in the reverse. So there's like this split energy because there's decisions to be made, right? I just heard catch 22. You feel like you're damned if you don't, damned if you do. It's like, okay, well, if I go towards what it is that I want for myself, I'm going to upset other people. If I go towards what it is other people are trying to kind of, almost push onto me, I'm not going to be happy. So what the fuck do I do? And it's like, well, and that causes a sense of disharmony within self. So this, I feel like, is very internal here. I mean, there's some external factors too, obviously, but I feel like this is more of an internal battle right now than anything. And this is on the bottom of the deck. So let's do a cross of truth. I think that would be a good one to do for this reading. Yeah, let's do a cross of truth. So what's the overall energy for the collective right now when it comes to working on their shadow work? Clearest the most accurate message, Spirit. Ooh, see, the Lovers came right back out in a challenging position. Can't make this shit up even if you wanted to. Came right back out in a challenging position. This is the overall energy. So, trying to figure out what to do, right? What decision to make. Knowing that you need to make a concrete decision about what it is that you want to do for yourself. King of Swords here. Some of you, I said earlier, might have air in your chart. Some of you might be Gemini or have it in your chart. Knight of Cups on the top of the deck in the reverse. That's usually about like fake love offers, or I'm getting gaslighting possibly. Maybe people try to gaslight you into doing stuff that you don't really want to do. There might be a narcissistic parent or something like that in your life, or grandparents. And that could explain why I heard the word enmeshment earlier. If you wanted to look that up, like in a psychological standpoint, you could look it up for yourself and kind of dive deeper into that. But I'll give you a quick synopsis of what that word means in terms of psychology. Um, Enmeshment is basically, especially when it comes to parenting, it's basically when there's parents that are very overbearing to the point where even with their adult children, they tend to overshadow everything. They orchestrate everything. And if you try to pull your energy back from them, then they do the whole woe is me thing, like, oh, I can't be without you. And then next thing you know, like you're in the web of their like insecurities and all this different stuff. And it's like it puts you in a very, very tough position because you obviously, especially when it comes to parents, you care about your parents, right? You don't want to make them feel like that. But at the same time, you have to be able to set healthy boundaries as an adult in particular, and do what's best for yourself, right? So like I said, you could look up the term enmeshment when it comes to psychology, especially when it comes to parents, and you'll get a little bit more insight about it. But that's a quick little synopsis of what it might look like. But here you are trying to take that leap of faith in a new direction in your life, but it makes it very difficult when you have a choice to make when it comes to kind of distancing yourself from said individuals in your life, so that you can go towards something that is more fulfilling for yourself. Tell us more. What is maybe what's the tell us more about what this challenge might be for the collective. Clearest and most accurate message. Thank you. Yeah, you're working on yourself. I'm getting, for a lot of you, this is going to be, specific. It's not going to be for every single person who ends up watching, but for a lot of you, it might have to do with occupation. Something that you are trying to work on, that they want you to do something different. So let's say, they want you to go to college and you want you to be a certain type of major because that's what they majored in or that's what they wanted to major in, and they're trying to, again, put their dreams onto you. Um, but you want something different. Excuse me. And anytime I burp on here, it's always usually sound with the throat chakra. There's something that needs to be said. And I said that earlier in the reading. I picked up on this energy of there's something that needs to be said, speaking your truth, being, you know, realistic about, how do you approach this? How do you say what you need to say? Because you want to move on. You want to move towards something new and something different, the chariot. So it could be physically moving too. Let's say if you've been trying to stay close to home, this seems very specific for somebody. Take it as it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. But there could be somebody who, part of the issue, tip of my nose is itching, so this is current for somebody. For somebody in particular who might end up watching this at some point. Wow, my nose is going like crazy itchy right now. I just I don't know if any of you guys like the show Bewitched, the old black and white TV show. I love that show. I used to watch it with my dad. But anywho, some of you might be physically wanting to move, and for those of you who resonate with the idea, especially if you're a little bit younger, if you have been wanting to go to a certain college that's like too far away from home, or it's just not where they want you to go. I'm getting something like that for somebody. They're like, you need to go for, for what it is that you want for yourself. Yeah. Because that's the thing is all this is meant to happen exactly the way it's happening. It's fated to happen this way because you are meant to go in a new direction. You're meant to do things differently. You're meant to kind of break the mold a little bit within your family. And you got that Wheel of Fortune here. So there's going to be some good things on the other side of all of this. It might seem like a shitty situation currently, but it's going to look up in the end. It might even be something that could end up being very lucrative for you down the line. King of Pentacles. Some of you might have Earth in your chart. Let me know if that resonates. All right, tell us more. Ooh, wow. before I even like had a chance to really ask a question. I'm gonna take it. All right. So yeah, see, you gotta let go of the past. Because what the question was going to be is, what are you guys going to be working on letting go of? The past. Six of Cups. There are things from the past that, especially from childhood, that just again don't mesh with where you're trying to go. You're going in a different direction than the stuff that was kind of put onto you. And it's not gonna, make everybody happy, but that's perfectly fucking fine. At the end of the day, you need to be doing something that makes you happy. So whether as career wise, where you live, whatever, making decisions for yourself right now is essential. And you can't live for everybody else. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And you might feel rejected because of it. Four of Cups, here on the bottom of the deck, you might feel rejected, but there's going to be new opportunities still presenting themselves regardless. So at the end of the day, don't dwell upon it too much. Yeah. I think some of you might fear like feeling like you're going to be left out in the cold, because we do have Five of Pentacles here. Let go of that fear, because the thing is, it's like, even if somehow they reject you in some kind of way, blah blah blah, like, things will still end up coming together regardless at some point. Even if it's not right away, like, they're gonna have to get up off their goddamn high horse and just accept things for what it is. Because at the end of the day, what kind of person are you if you're going to reject your family, your kid, or whatever, because of the fact that they decided to do something different than what you wanted them to do? Like, they're their own fucking individual. Like, stop. You know what I mean? Stop playing the mind games and, tripping people up and shit, because that's bullshit. And again, you might be in your head a lot about this, but this is what we're trying to work on, right? We're trying to release that, hence the obsession about it. You're trying to get out of that. Let me know if this is resonating, guys. All right. Tell us more. Yeah. Seizing new opportunities. All swords cards here. Definitely heavy sword energy here. So I was feeling it earlier, and I feel it even more now. We got the Knight of Swords, which is about seizing new opportunities. But don't be hasty, right? Don't do stuff just to spite somebody or something like that. Make sure that you think it through. Because we also have the King of Swords here underneath that. And then we also have the Eight of Swords. Getting out of your own head, right? And just being able to say, okay, I'm going to make a sound judgment here, a judgment call that's going to allow me to seize new opportunities that are going to be beneficial for me. Again, don't do it out of spite or immaturity. Do it because it's something that actually makes sense and is going to allow you to have a better outcome in the long run. Yeah, let you boss up. This Emperor energy. Some of you might, the person in particular that you feel like you're gonna be combative with is your dad. That seems very specific though. Let me know if it resonates though. But you're gonna have to be headstrong here and stick up for yourself and say, you know what, I'm sticking to my guns. Even if you're worried about the rejection, and they might make you feel like that at first, but just know that down the line things will look up. Don't worry about it too much. Tell us more. By the way, guys, at some point I might have to go to the bathroom because I had a lot of water today, which I'm proud of myself about. I had coconut water, I had regular water, I had a seltzer. So I might end up having to use the bathroom, but I'll be quick. All right, so the basis of everything that you're going through, and this is in a challenging position. I just heard fear of, I heard fear of failure, but I also heard failure to launch. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie. I think who was it in it? Was it Matthew McConaughey? I think it was Matthew McConaughey. Was it Jessica? What's her name? From Sex and the City. I can't think of her name right now. But the one who plays Carrie, the main character. I believe she's in that movie. Hopefully I'm not making this up, but I know Matthew McConaughey is definitely in it. But point being, there was a movie called, and this is like we talking about about 15 years ago, a movie called, maybe longer than that, Failure to Launch, where it was this guy, Matthew McConaughey's character, who basically a grown man child, essentially. And, so they're dating, and like he's like basically up under his mom's titty all the time. Like he does not want to do anything for himself because mommy does everything for him. And I just kind of picked up on that. I'm not saying that that's necessarily you guys per se, but it could just be the fact that you guys do have a hard time, or are currently having a hard time, because this is in a challenging position, taking that leap of faith into the unknown because of fear, um, and or because of comfort, right? Complacency. If I mean, you know, it's one of those kind of things like, really, when you think about it, who's gonna choose to leave the nest and just say, fuck it, I'm gonna just do everything by myself? Like, it takes a little bit of craziness to say that that's what you're gonna do, right? But at the same time, is what's necessary in order to grow and, do your own thing. Yeah, and this is a burden that's gonna allow you yourself to be like feeling so much more like lighter once you release it. 10 of Wands here on the bottom in the reverse. Yeah, see, a lot of this is for a lot of you guys. It has something to do with your dad. Yeah, so some toxic ties there with the devil in the middle of the deck. So a lot of major arcana have been showing up throughout this reading, by the way. So it's really just about, being able to say, you know what, enough's enough. I need to be able to, have control over my own life. I can't keep on dealing with this controlling person, whoever this person may be, um, who's making it very hard for me to be able to move in a new direction in my life and make my own decisions. Even like as, older individuals, I'm 40 or about to be 40, and I still sometimes like feel like I live in the past, like the things I was supposed to do and things like that. I made a quick little example a little while ago about like when I decided to go back to college. I went back to college and took up the stuff that my grandmother did, and I'm not even doing that. I teach, very, very the same and very different. Like the coursework, a lot of it is kind of similar, but like a lot of it's very, very different. And like I thought I was failing my grandmother. I'm like, I'm not doing what like I was supposed to do after she passed away. Blah blah blah. Blah. Like I beat myself up about it. Everybody's like, well, you're paving your own path, and that's what you guys are possibly in the midst of doing as well. All right, tell us more. Tell us more. The Hermit. So definitely a time of introspection, right? And remember, we're talking about maybe feeling a little bit isolated from people, feeling a little bit alone. We talked about that earlier. It can feel lonely, and you're gonna have to do what you have to do during this time to figure out what's best for you, what it is that you want to do for yourself, because your happiness is quintessential. Doing things for other people, living for everybody else, that's not going to make you happy. Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck in the reverse. For some of you, this is a little bit more specific, so take it as it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. For some of you, it could have something to do with your partner, like your romantic partner. Like maybe your parents don't, or your family doesn't approve of somebody who you date. Another thing that is very specific, it could be even sexual orientation. Again, it's going to be different for everybody, but I did pick up on that just now. Take it as it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. But I'm getting that for somebody as well. Slow and steady wins the race. There is no need to feel like you have to rush the process as you figure all this out and navigate it. Knight of Pentacles here on the top of the deck. Again, doing what's best for yourself, not worrying about other people and their opinions. You have Three of Cups here in the middle of the deck, and that's usually about like community. Could represent friendship groups as well. In this case, I'm picking up on maybe community. I just heard he said, she said. So there might be gossip even within your own family, which is wild, right? You wouldn't think family members gossip about their own family, but they do. I know mine does. So yeah, like just understanding that at the end of the day, you cannot please everybody. You gotta do what's best for you. So whatever this is for you guys, because like I said, it looks different for everybody. For some of you, I was picking up on the main thing I was picking up on was like career. Um, was a big one. You're no, family not approving of what it is that you do in terms of career, want to do in terms of career. Other people, it was like what you're going to school for, which goes back into the career thing. Um, Others, I was picking up on a big move and moving somewhere that's way further away or something like that, or somewhere where they don't approve of. I was also picking up on romantic relationships and or gender. I mean, not gender. Sexual orientation for somebody. So there's a lot of moving parts here, but just understanding that it's not about pleasing other people, it's about pleasing yourself at this point and what makes you happy, not living for the next person. Um, if you guys could bear with me for like 1.5 minutes, because I do have to pee. Like I said, I had a lot of water today, so I'll be right back. Give me one moment. Alright guys, I'm back. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just pick up a deck that I wanted to read from. Alright, thank you for bearing with me. Sorry guys. Alright, so um I think I'm gonna save these and I'm gonna read from these first. The inner child deck. So like I said, for those of you who have been resonating with this reading, you know, you might get some really good insight from this deck here. Alright, so let's see. Let's pull maybe 3 from here. I'm not gonna go too crazy. And then we're gonna talk about how do we balance this all out? Like what can we do to work on this? Finding that inner light when it comes to all of this. If you have been resonating with the reading so far, please hit that like button. If you're new, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Appreciate you guys. Love that you guys have been sticking around. All right, what we got? Be present. Find clarity in the moment. Yes, exactly. I did mention something about trying to feel more clarity, especially as like I was seeing a lot of the air sign energy popping up and being very clear, concrete, right, about what it is that's happening here. And I think a lot of you guys have been already working on this because I did see that energy kind of coming up too. Like you're not being vengeful, you're not necessarily angry. You might have been angry at one point, but you're shying away from that. So it's feeling a little bit more clear about where it is that you're trying to go with this information, how you've been feeling. Like I said, we're gonna get maybe 3 from here. It's never truly the end. Beloved, in this, everything will be okay. Exactly. Like, everything is fine. There's probably, like I said, the fears and anxieties of the unknown, right? Not knowing what's happening here, not knowing like, okay, if I decide to, kind of distance myself from, these individuals in my life who I care very, very much about, does that mean that like that's going to ruin our relationship and things like that? Well, at the end of the day, you still have to do what's best for you. You can't sit there and dwell upon those things. And I think that you guys are starting to figure that out slowly, right? That this might be a time of isolation and distance and all of that, but you're still doing what you need to do. Bottom of the deck, we have flow with the rhythm. Get lost in the rhythm of movement daily. I'm also getting that uh, maybe being physically active more seems a little bit like a separate message for somebody. Being a little bit more physically active might be kind of nice for some of you. I'm getting like yoga, dance, things like that. Moving, like I said, moving your body. Some of you, and I did pick up on the arts earlier. Some of you might remember I was talking about like prodigies and prestigious. I used the word prestigious. Some of you might be like prodigies or something like that, or have it in your blood somewhere. Um, Dancers and artists and things like that. But now I'm getting dancers. I see like a little ballerina, like somebody who did ballet or jazz dance. Um, Coming from a background like that, possibly for somebody that's very specific. So please take the messages as they resonate, like I said before. Let's get maybe two more from this deck. Here we go. Listen. Your inner child has something to say. Exactly. Did I not talk about the throat chakra? 46 when I said that. Did I not talk about the throat chakra several times throughout this reading? um, I definitely was getting this energy of having to speak up, right? And in this case, it could be that inner child that needs to have their voice be heard. So yeah, this is a time to let that inner child really have its time to shine, its voice, because I feel like you guys, I did mention earlier, I felt like I heard the word like shush, like when you're trying to like say something, like think about like little kids when they're trying to speak up or say something and then their parents just say shh, you know what I mean, like a lot of just like not being able to vocalize what it is that you want or, or wanted to say. And now this is a time to listen to that inner child as they're trying to, get that attention that maybe they needed at one point that they didn't get enough of back in the day. I'm getting something like that. Sirens, here we go. Burps and sirens, those are like, and sneezes, those are usually the telltale signs that the reading is like on point, because I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Yep. I don't know if you guys can hear the siren in the background. Might be a little too far out, but there is one going off out there. You can do hard things. I say this to my students all the time, literally in those exact words. You can do hard things. It is not impossible. Sorry, it is not as impossible as it may feel. Wow. It is not as impossible as it may feel. Like this past week, um, we had like a what's it called? Not March of Dimes, but like Make a Wish. Make a Wish Foundation was at my job, and we had like a walkathon thing or whatever, and they had like one of the big inflatable bouncy house things, and my student was scared. So I'm the assistant teacher, and the head teacher was like, she's been working with him for like what, 3 years now, so she knows him very well. I'm still learning him a little bit, and she was like, okay, buddy. So this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna go in there. And she had like one of the aides go in with him. She was like, okay, who do you want to go with? You want to go with so and so or so and so? And he was like, I want to go with so and so. And then they went in together, and he helped him go through it, and he got through. But he was so freaking scared. He was like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I don't want to go outside. But she was like, no, we're gonna just, you're gonna do it, and you're protected. You're fine. And he did an amazing job. And when he got out of there, he was so like ecstatic. He was like, I did it. I'm like, see, I told you. Amanda is not going to put you in any position that like you're not going to be safe, buddy. Like teachers love you. Teachers got your back. Like you're fine, you know? So sometimes, we need that sense of, guidance, right? That sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? Reassurance that, even when things are hard, we can do it. And that's why I really like this deck, because it comes from that standpoint of what a child feels and thinks. um so, if there's anything that you've been really like concerned about, like, dang, as much as I really want to do this, I'm scared, I don't think I can, this is reassurance that you can do it. I'm sorry guys, I do see that there's some questions coming in, but this is just a collective right now, so I'm not doing personal readings. Sorry guys. um Not today anyway. I do them, but just not in this particular case. Okay, love you guys. um all right, what is this? All right, so bottom of the deck we have breathe in, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Practice breath work daily. Um, doing some. I was picking up on yoga for some of you guys, and also Pilates. Ways to get your body active and also like kind of get like re-engaged with your like finding your center. Right now I have in the background, like I have like healing music. I don't know if you guys could really even hear it because I have it really like faint, but it's like it's meant to like work on like healing ailments in the body and stuff like that, different megahertz and things like that. So you might benefit from doing stuff like that. Let's see what else we got. Top. Connect to eternity within. Let yourself be held by love. Yes, and the thing is like within and then held by love. That inner child needs that attention and that love right now. And sometimes we don't always get that attention from outside of ourselves, and we have to learn how to nurture ourselves, finding how to finding out how to essentially do a lot of inner work. um I talked about this recently with one of my clients, and she has like mommy daughter issues, and she she struggles with that, and she's learning how to not have to seek validation anymore from her, unfortunately, from her own mom. And she's learning how to kind of that same maternal influence that she might have needed. She's learning how to be that for herself, so that validation and love and all that stuff is starting to come from within. So I'm getting something like that for some of you. Again, take it as it resonates and leave it if it doesn't, because it's not going to be for everybody, I know. Middle of the deck, speak to yourself with kindness. I literally had my be kind to everyone t-shirt on today at work, and everybody was like, oh, because I did not wear my actual like work t-shirt to work. I wear like a school t-shirt from my other job. I was like, fuck a uniform today. I'm wearing what I want. I have to do laundry, and I'm like, well, at least the shirt is clean. So I wear a different shirt, and it literally says, be kind to everybody or everyone or whatever. And everybody's like, oh, I really like your shirt. And then a couple people were like, do you actually live by that? I'm like, when people allow me to, yes, I do. And when people don't, I have to woosah, do my breath work so I don't get out of character. And they was like, oh, okay, I hear you, I hear you. Yeah, exactly. Don't get it twisted now, motherfucker. It ain't always rainbows and butterflies. I try, but I ain't perfect. So anyway, it says speak kindly to yourself, or sorry, speak to yourself with kindness. Same shit. Become aware of how you speak to yourself. So that inner voice, very important right now. I'm getting for a lot of you guys. So focusing on that inner work, right? We're definitely picking up on that energy a lot. Let's see. I definitely felt drawn to connect with that reading. I mean that deck, and I'm happy I did because I feel like that message was important. All right, so I'm gonna pull maybe three from here, which is talking about the light work now. How do we balance this all out? How do we figure out, how to work with that darker part of ourselves? Because we all have it, every single last one of us. Um, and shadow work is one of those things that we put under the rug and we act like it doesn't exist. And that's why it's important to make sure that it's addressed. So let's see what Spirit has to say when it comes to how to balance it all out and come into this light energy a little bit more. Right, bottom of the deck, Sphere of Light, Healing Hands, Empathic Qualities, Animal Wisdom. So what I'm picking up on for you guys is, one, I'm getting that you guys are healers. Those of you who end up resonating with this, you guys are meant to help heal others. I'm getting people who are like wounded healers, people who've been through a lot of stuff, but then they're also like, as they help other people, they also heal. I'm getting something like that. I definitely can resonate with that. Some of you guys might use physical touch as a way to help other people in some kind of way. I'm getting something like that. Some of you guys might resonate with the idea of being around animals. I'm also picking up on that. Um, like I know, like lately, my cat, she's been super attached to me lately, like right at my hip all the time. When I leave, she's like, she doesn't want me to leave the house. Like she'll literally like block the doorway. I'm like, honey, I pick her up and I just move her over. Or I take my foot and I like slide her over with my foot. I'm like, honey, I gotta go. So some of you might resonate with that. Being really connected with animals and things of that nature. No pun intended. What's more? Let's get maybe 3 or 4 from here. And then I have a few like decks like to my side, and I'll pick maybe from 1 or 2 more, and then that's gonna be it. Thank you. Yeah, she's the best. I love her. She's napping right now in her little house. I'm looking at her right now. She's so cute, my baby. Archangel Michael. I love that. Heart of a Warrior. Yes, Heart of a Warrior. You guys might be seeing the number 3 a lot. I picked up on that earlier. I just didn't say it out loud, but I did see a few threes earlier. You might be seeing the number 3 a lot. Divine protection and synchronicity. So I'm getting pay attention to synchronicities. There might be a lot of things that are happening that seem almost coincidental, but they're not just mere coincidences. Pay attention to that stuff because it's a way for you to kind of be more what's the word I'm looking for, more in tune with the Archangel Michael. I'm also getting like ancestors might be very prevalent for a lot of you guys at this time. If you've been feeling their energy too, or there's something that you want to start working on, allowing yourself to become more accustomed to feeling. Because like I'll be honest with you, like I feel like I haven't been as attached and in tune with my ancestors as I used to be. I gotta work on that. Because I was very, very in tune, and like I don't feel them as much as I used to. So there's something within myself right now that I need to work on. I still feel very protected and all of that, but I feel like they're not as like prevalent like that they used to be always around like all the time, and I feel like they're not as much. And I think it's because I have a lot of stuff like inner things I'm working on right now, and they're probably like, okay, let her handle that, like let her do her own thing, and then we'll kind of come back around. So you might be feeling like that too, hence that energy of feeling a little bit isolated. So we did talk about that earlier, but just know you are protected nonetheless, regardless of any of that. All right, let's get like maybe 2 more from here. 3 at the most. Thank you. All right, we have Violet Fire Transmutation. There we go. I love that. Detoxification, psychic vision, constant distraction. So there have been distractions, and we've talked about that already, but we also know this is a time to kind of start transmuting energy, right? Releasing, letting things go, not holding on to the things that have been making you feel like you're being held back. So I am getting the energy of people who might have psychic abilities. Remember, I said something about being gifted earlier. I was like, I'm not sure if it's spiritually gifted or other forms of gifted, or just because it's going to be different for everybody. But I did mention that earlier. That I was picking up on that as being a possibility, especially for those of you who might resonate with the idea of, let's say, you have spiritual gifts or you're into spirituality and you come from a background where people are religious. That's always rough, because not everybody believes in what we believe in, and I say we because I fall in that category. um, some people believe in it, some people don't, and they're like, "Oh, you're doing like the devil's work," and it's like, no, actually, I'm not. Literally, these are God-given gifts, and I'm doing something with it. So I'm transmuting the energy, right? So it's like, some of you might resonate with that. That's like my own little personal quick little testimony, but everybody's going through different things, and please take the messages as they resonate. But some of you might resonate with that. I'm also getting, for those of you who do resonate with the idea of um, spiritual gifts, you might be a seer. In this case, meaning like clairvoyant, like you could literally see things like as it happens or before it happens. You can see visions, like that type of thing. Let me know if that resonates with anybody. I'm seeing that mostly. It could be other different clairs too. Like you might be clairaudient, like you might hear things, you might smell things, you might taste things. But I'm mostly picking up on people who are clairvoyant. I'm building that skill now, or that gift now. I'm more so clairaudient. Um, but I'm starting to get the clairvoyance too. Exactly. Crazy, right? Yep. See, look, it's here again. So I'm definitely getting empaths as well, because I said that earlier. We saw this card before, but now it's officially on the spread. Let's get one more. Yeah, definitely getting the people who you're able to help heal others because you can feel what they're feeling. Like when I read, sometimes, like, for those of you who like have been watching for a while or who would like to continue to watch, I literally, there's times where I'll stop what I'm doing, like dead ass, like in the middle of a reading, and be like, wait, hold up, I'm feeling something, or I hear something, or whatever, I taste something, I smell something, like all kind of shit. And one of those things that might happen is I could literally feel a person's ailment. I'll be like, so somebody may have something going on with their stomach and they might want to go get that checked out. And they're like, oh yeah, I have an appointment on Tuesday. Like I have to go, see my gastrointestinal doctor. Like it's crazy. Or, there's been times where I do personal readings and I stop like right in the middle of a reading and I'm like mid sentence type shit. And then like all of a sudden, like I feel like, a cricket in my neck or something. I'm like, have you been having problems with sleeping? Do you need to change your pillow? And they're like, yeah, actually, I have this going on. But people who have migraines, I could pick up on a lot of different things. Arthritis, like I've picked up on, there was even a client that I had, like not on here, but like a client I did a reading for, and I was picking up on cancer, and lo and behold, they had a benign tumor. Thankfully, it was benign. But this is what I'm saying. Like, some of you might have a similar kind of quality to you or gifts, um, where you're able to pick up on the same things. You could, like, I literally can smell death on a person. It's kind of scary. I don't like it. But there's been times where I could smell it on a person, and I'll tell them, hey, you might want to get looked at. And then they'll tell me later, like, oh, yeah, like cirrhosis of the liver, especially at my job. Because I remember I told you guys I work at a liquor store. Like, stuff like that. I've seen it. I've felt it. I've encountered it. So some of you guys might have very similar gifts. which sometimes doesn't always feel like a gift, but we are living in our purpose and doing what we need to do to help other people. So just always remember that. Keep that as a mental note for yourself, even when it feels a little bit like, I don't know how I feel about it. We have a cathedral of light, stubborn attitudes, extending the olive branch in artistry. Now, this is kind of going back to what I was saying before, where I was like, I do pick up on this idea or this vibe that some of you, it could be like if you have different religious backgrounds, or your sights are set towards learning something different than what you were brought up in terms of religion and stuff like that. That could be one of the things that have been a factor that has been kind of causing a rift between you and your loved ones. In such cases, it's like, you gotta do what you gotta do for yourself. You can't live for everybody else, right? And with that said, maybe eventually you'll be able to extend that olive branch and, kind of keep on, you know, working on your relationship with that person or those individuals. It's hard because like sometimes what happens is when people are so set in their ways, like that's all they want to do, that's all they care about, that's how they view things, and that's it, their way of the highway. And here you come doing something completely different, and they're like, fuck that, we don't agree with it. And that's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, especially because you're not doing anything wrong. It's just you have a differing you know opinion, or your sights are set, in my opinion, maybe a little bit higher than where they're at currently, because they're doing it based off of what they were taught, and that's it. You're like, no, I see things differently. I just heard, I can see clearer now, the rain is gone. And it's like, I can see all the obstacles in my way. And it's like, you guys have a clear vision of what it is that you're meant to do, you know but some of these people, they don't see it the same way, and it is unfortunate, and it happens a lot in this community in particular. But you gotta do what's best for you, right? All right, bottom of the deck, we have cosmic gateway, insecurities, connection with others, and refocusing. Yeah, so right now this is not necessarily the time to worry about focusing with, or yeah, don't focus on your connections with everybody else right now. Right now, this is more about what's needed for yourself, your own connection with the Most High. And as I'm looking at this picture more, look how this person is sitting. Remember, I was talking about, let me see something. I'm going to turn this light off just so you guys can see this picture a little bit better. But yes. Um, if you can see, she's like kind of in a yoga pose. And she's, connecting with the Most High, right? She's finding her center here. And it's allowing her to be able to make that connection with something that's beyond, the typical scope of what she probably normally would try to connect with. And again, it could be a little bit scary, it could be a little bit off putting, but at the same time, she's doing what's best for herself. I'm definitely getting heart chakra right now, and I'm getting not sacral chakra. I'm getting solar plexus chakras right now. Um, Let me know if that resonates. If any of you guys have been having any heart issues or breathing issues, I'm getting something along those lines, and I'm also getting like issues with the tummy too. Let me know if that resonates. That could be a part of, I just heard growing pains. It could be kind of like the growing pains of which you're going through in order to be able to work on whatever this is for you, right? It could be definitely, okay, this card, it wanted to come out. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take this card too because I was going to read from that anyway because it was on the top, but this one flew out. Um, Ascension Flame. Liberation. Yeah, see? There's a reason why this card came out. I'm going to put the light back on now because I look crazy. Um, I like the ambiance. Ascension Flame, liberation, a sense of greater purpose, high expectations. See, there's a reason why that card kind of just flew out. Like I was trying to get the card that was on the top, but this was underneath that card, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna take it. So, and like Queen just said, harnessing energy, right? high energy here. Freeing yourself, from the things that have not been serving you, and understanding that this is all for your greater good. Hence, this energy of transmutation. This is the card that I technically took off the top of the deck, but this one flew out underneath it. Like, as I took this one out, the other card flew onto the spread. I'm like, oh, okay, I have to take it. I can't not take it. Light activation, hence why we're talking about light work. Evolution of spirit, yes. Actioning of plans and transcendence, yes. Rising above the things that you might not fully understand at times, but understanding that this is what needs to be done in order to become your highest, best version of yourself. Middle of the deck, sacred space, yes, exactly. I love that. I love that. Positive outcome, and I said that. Clarity, I also said that. Lucky attraction and removing obstacles, exactly. So things will get better. It might feel a little bit off at first, but trust, things will get to be where they're meant to be. It just might feel a little bit out of place and off putting at first, but things will get better. Because everybody has to start seeing things for what it really is, seeing clearer. Um, Yeah, and the thing that's really standing out to me is the main premise of the card, sacred space. Being able to find your own sacred space, hence that hermit card that we saw, that hermit energy that we saw more than once in this reading. This is going to be a time of isolation. This is going to be a time of working on self and distancing yourself from certain people and circumstances. This is just the times that you're in. And it is going to be a little bit difficult. It is not going to be easy necessarily, but it's not going to be that hard either. So it really is just about, how do you approach it? Mindset is a big part of it. Wrench, mindset is definitely a big part of it, and just being able to say, okay, well, if I approach this with a positive mindset, and understand, hey, I'm going through growing pains, they're going through growing pains too, we're kind of all doing our own things right now and figuring it all out, but at the end of the day, when the time is right, we will come together and reconnect if the time is right. And then with it, sorry, if and when the time is right. Hope that makes sense. Um, I haven't really used these on the channel before. I've used them for myself, but I think I've only used them maybe once. Excuse me, on the channel. So I'm gonna get one card from here, just one. And then I think I'm going to read from maybe one or two more decks. And again, it'll be maybe one card from each of those decks, just to kind of start getting ready to close this reading out. But I do hope that you guys have been resonating with it. If you have been, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well, because I'm going to start being more active on here. I'm working on it. I used to be quite a bit more active than I have been lately, but I'm going to start slowly rebuilding that momentum again, and doing like the free readings and stuff for private readings and stuff on here too, so, or personals or whatever. So I'm working on it. So I do hope that you guys feel like you've been resonating with this reading so far. Bottom of the deck, Crystal of Clarity. Illuminate your path with openness and insight, readying yourself for a newfound understanding of content. Yes. Yes. So we talked about clarity literally just a second ago. Let's get one card from here. That was on the bottom of the deck. But yeah, let's get one card officially from this deck to put into the spread. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. I really hope that you've been resonating. Even if you got just like a small little nugget of knowledge that you feel was helpful, that makes me feel good. All right, we have Winds of Fortune. Allow the winds of fortune to guide your sails. Interesting. Maneuvering through life's opportunities and challenges with adaptability is the card that we got from here. So being able to adapt, and we talked about the Wheel of Fortune earlier. how things are fated to happen a certain way, and we sometimes just have to go with the ebbs and flows of life, even when it doesn't make sense. Sometimes we're like, the fuck is this? This is some bullshit. Bottom of the deck, going forward, don't dwell on the past, but focus on creating a brighter future. Exactly. Here on the bottom of the deck. All right. Let's see. um, let's do this. No, let's do this one first. Wisdom of Oracle. Again, I'm gonna just do like one card, and then I'll pull two more after this, and that'll be the end. Like I said, I'm very appreciative of you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. Alright, let's get one card from here. Bottom of the deck first. This is me. To be fair, yeah, balancing things out, right? Some of you might have Libra in your chart. Trying to just find balance in your life, right? Trying to, and also with when it comes to like how sensitive this topic is, how like this could be how you guys have been feeling. Like, how do I meet in the middle with this person, like, or these people, so that things are not so complicated and convoluted. I'm getting something like that. I also just heard, and I heard the song at work earlier today. I hadn't heard that song forever. Baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I was like, yeah, this is my jam. But yeah, it came up on like the Spotify thing at work. I was like, oh shoot, I haven't heard that song in forever. All right, come to the edge. It's the Fool card. It's the same thing, the Fool. All right, and that was like the premise really of the whole reading, right? The Fool, being able to understand that, you know, it is scary, not knowing what the fuck is happening, but being able to say, I'm gonna take this leap of faith anyway and go towards it. The fates, there you go. It's fated to happen this way. Everything is happening in its own divine timing. I said that shit earlier. You can't make this shit up even if you wanted to. But we got on the top. I just want to see it for shits and giggles. Why? Well, why? For why? You might be feeling like that, right? Asking like, okay, so why is it happening this way? Like, is this really how it's supposed to go down? Like, but why am I having like this tit for tat with these people who I care about? Like, these are questions that you might be asking yourself, and Spirit is basically saying, like, listen, while you might not feel like you have all the answers, just know this is exactly how it's meant to go down. And it will get better, contrary to what it might feel like at this time, because it's very complicated, right? Very convoluted. I heard the word distraction. This might be causing you to feel distracted, possibly for some of you. Okay, one more shuffle. All right, let's get one from here. Bottom of the deck, though. Watchers, transpersonal, yeah. What I'm getting is, it's like there's stuff outside of yourself that makes it very, very difficult to be able to do the things that you want to do, because it's all connected, right? There's people around you who you're very, very strongly connected to, or circumstances that you're very strongly connected to, that make it hard to be able to be on this personal journey. I'm getting people who are very, very what's the word I'm looking for? I just heard groupthink. People who are, instead of being very individualistic, that's not the word. I can't say it. I can't say the word. But people who are usually more like an individualized mindset. I can't say the word that I'm trying to say right now. Throat chakra. But you guys are like kind of the opposite. You guys are more of a altruistic kind of approach. You care about the well-being of your community, which is not a bad thing in and of itself. That's not a bad thing at all. But what happens is you have to find balance, right? Like, if you're always worried about everybody else all the time, especially if other people aren't worried about you as much as you're worried about them, that's a whole different conversation. What starts to happen is it becomes very, very muddied and cloudy. And it's almost like, okay, well, where are the boundaries? There becomes no boundaries over time, and that could become a problem. So just understand that you have to, there's nothing wrong with being in that mindset of being altruistic, where you care about everybody else, and you all work together, group think kind of thing, where, or like hive mind, if you ever heard those terms. They're very, you know psychological terms. But yeah, for those of you who know what those things mean or have an idea of what they mean, um you know in and of itself, it's not a bad thing, but it could become a bad thing if there are no clear cut boundaries of how to approach the circumstances. That's when it could become a problem. Caterpillar opportunity. Some of you might really like cats, but I'm also getting that this is a time of her character development. It's interesting. I heard character development, but what I'm also getting is this is a time of transformation, and as you work on this transformation, there's going to be doors of opportunity opening up to you, because you're doing exactly what it is that you've been meant to do at this time. Dust devil, moving out of stagnation, yes, because you might have been feeling very, very, very stuck for a while, especially if you've been trying to live up to the standards of other people. I'm definitely getting something passed down through the lineage. You are the one that's going to kind of be the one that's going to break that mold and do something different. Yeah, that's what I'm getting for somebody. All right, I'm gonna pull from one more deck, and that's going to be the end of this reading. One more card, and I do hope that you guys resonated with this. I know that these type of readings don't always get the same traction as other types of readings, but I'm happy that those of you who ended up tapping in and or resonating with the reading, sticking around throughout the reading, so on and so forth, I'm happy that you've been here, and I'm very, very appreciative of you guys, because yeah, I can't do this without you. So yeah, thank you for being here. And trust me, I will get back to doing the personal free stuff and all that on here. It's a lot of energy that comes out of me when it comes to doing that, and I'm not quite where I need to be spiritually again to get to that point, and I want to make sure I deliver the best messages that I can. So right now collectives are a little bit easier for me to kind of get back into the swing of things, and I do these like maybe 2 times a week. So excuse me. Bottom of the deck, we have doubts. I release the need to know all the answers. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you're not going to know all the answers. And that's the thing that's hard, right? And that uncertainty, right? You want things to be as clear as possible. And sometimes it's just not that clear. So let's get an official card from this deck here. That was just on the bottom of the deck, but I'll say that definitely made sense. You're very, very welcome, Queen. I appreciate you, my moderator and one of my day ones. Love you. All right, so let's get one card. Thank you. Acceptance, yes. I am learning to accept things I cannot change. And one of those things is going to be other people and their fucking opinions. I'm going to be a little vulgar real quick, so bear with me. But opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, right? So at the end of the day, family, friends, blah, 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 like, people always got something to say, right? And it's always when it's unwarranted, mind you. Like, I didn't ask you for your opinion, but okay, thanks, great. You know what I mean? So it's like, that might be how you guys feel right now. It's like, goddamn, I did not ask you anything about your opinion at all. I love you. Like, I didn't ask you a goddamn thing about your opinion, but here you are giving it to me. Sometimes you have to accept it for what it is. Take it with a grain of salt and just move forward, right? Don't dwell upon it, because at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to say what they're going to say. And at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for yourself at this time. That's how you find that balance between your light and your dark at this moment. Being able to accept the fact that, you know, there are going to be certain things that people are not going to be okay with that you want to do or that you're doing right now. But in order to work on your true happiness and not, sit here and try to fulfill everybody else's lives and dreams and all that bullshit, at the end of the day, that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. That's a them problem. So how do you approach that? With acceptance, you know, and using your words, being able to set those healthy boundaries. Easier said than done, yes, and it's gonna be different for everybody because everybody's got different things and different shit going on. But you can do it, and we saw that card that was talking about, like, doing hard things feels impossible sometimes, but you can do it. So, you know, work on that inner child and being able to nurture that inner child, let them be heard, let their voice be heard, um, so on and so forth. We talked about a lot during this reading, a lot of moving parts here, a lot of different energies coming through. But with all that said, I do hope that you guys resonated with the reading, and I hope that got something out of it. And if you are new, like I said, I would greatly appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell, because I am going to start being more active on here again. I do plan on doing the personals on here again, the free personals or the discounted ones, so on and so forth. So with all that said, um, get your bodies ready for Monday, because back to the grind tomorrow for a lot of us, right? So with all that said, I love you guys so dearly and so very much. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna go eat because I'm freaking starving. And yeah, so until next time, you guys take great care of yourselves. I might tap in again maybe Tuesday or something. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I'm not gonna make any promises, but I will definitely tap in again at some point this week. So with all that said, I love you guys, and until next time.